Heroes and zeros here. This woman's being called a hero in New York City. She says she's done this a couple of times when she's wanted to get out of situations. In this case, she thwarted a crime. She was on her daily walk in her neighborhood in New York City, and a man jumped out in front of her, pulled a knife, and demanded money. She began coughing and said, "Oh, let me get my money. I've got COVID. I'm on the way to the emergency room." And she's coughing like all over him without putting her hand up to her mouth. And the guy turned and ran away.
Brilliant.
And she said, I've used this a couple of times just to get out of situations where, like, people ask me for money, like on the street. This guy had a knife, was mugging her.
Yeah.
And she said it worked. And now police said, we don't recommend that. We recommend you just give your wallet to them.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She
What have you got to lose? Give it a shot. He's not going to shoot you for having COVID.
No, I guess not.
Or stab you or whatever.
I don't know anymore. I don't risk it.
No, you just give. Yeah. I would have just given him whatever I had. But she faked it with a bunch of coughs. Remember the old 80s self-defense video?
Oh, God, that guy.
Poop on
He
yourself?
took it to the next level.
This is similar to me. The guy. This is in the 1980s, and he said, "Look, if you're being attacked, you have to take desperate measures."
Hi, I want to welcome you here to this Rapist Beware course. I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself against being murdered.
If you're being attacked, you must consider any and all options to ensure your safety, even if it means being gross. You might try belching loudly in your assailant's face, or if you can, pass gas. The smell may drive him away. Try urinating on yourself, or if you can, try to excrete on yourself. Rub the excrement on your arms and face. If you're saying that's too repulsive, you're right.
Bro, I just needed a 20, man.
You're disgusting.
You're standing there in your own filth. Who's the winner?
Yeah.
That's assuming you're naked, right?
You know what? If you're gonna, I think he wants it. Yeah.
If you're going to get it on the other person, you're going to take your clothes off.
Well, you got to reach down your back of
You
your
want me to
shirt.
reach
a
down?
handful.
Well,
He wants you to
get
get
a handful, rub on yourself.
Guy robbed me. He's like, I'm not high enough for this. I'm out, man. I'm leaving.
Back there.
Great idea. First, flatulate on yourself. Second, defecate on yourself.
See how that works.
Urinate on yourself. Yeah, try. Just first, it's a bell.
Open with a belch.
Open with a bell.
Yeah. Sometimes they're pansy enough that they'll run away from that.
This is a stick up. Yeah, on second thought.
But
You know what?
What
I'm
did you
going
have
to
for
take
lunch?
off.
Jesus.
Damn, woman, you're gross.
this woman, she's coughing. Oh, I got COVID.
COVID cough.
Yeah.
I got COVID. Good
What,
idea.
imagine standing there trying to do that and you can't.
Yeah.
He's like, give me your money. And you're just like,
That might scare him off.
What are you doing? I'm trying to poop.
yeah. He might run on his own there.
Messing with some nut job.
Never mind, man. I'm
I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to catch this bus and rob somebody on there.
The zero today is the company that makes the Easy Bake Oven. I can't recall. I don't know who owns it now.
I don't. I mean, I
Couldn't
thought it was
tell you.
one of the Hasbro
Like
guys.
Hasbro, yeah. It could be in for a lawsuit. I'm not sure. But a Massachusetts woman is claiming that she, her husband, and their 8-year-old daughter got sick after attempting to prepare food that the daughter had just gotten the Easy Bake Oven. Now, the woman went on to TikTok and told her whole story. It took a long time. We have the beginning and the end here. Basically, the dad and the daughter, the 8-year-old, were in the kitchen, and they were making a red velvet cake in the new Easy Bake Oven. And
You can do that?
You can do that, yeah. It's in 2 parts. First, you do the top part of the cake, you take it out, you put it in the second part of the cake. It takes about 20 minutes for each part of the cake, and there's a layer of icing you put in between and on top. So this is an advanced Easy Bake Oven, I guess. They plug it in, they do the first part of the cake.
My daughter and husband used the Easy Bake Oven for the very first time since she got it. They were in the kitchen doing that while I was in the bedroom packing. And as soon as they plugged it in, Nora was like, this smells weird. And my husband just assumed it was because it was a toy and it probably smelled like plastic when you first plug it in. But he also has not had smell or taste for 3 years ever since he had COVID. But of course, we didn't think anything of it. The smell went away, and they continued to cook. They were making a 2-layer cake, red velvet cake, and you had to cook 1 tray at a time. So they put the first tray in, and as it was cooking, all 3 of us were in the living room playing the Switch. 20 minutes later, they took it out of the Easy Bake Oven and realized it still was not cooked fully. So they figured, this is trash. We don't even want to make the second layer, and unplugged it.
They were disappointed with the results, but the smell lingered. They unplugged the Easy Bake Oven, as you heard.
This is trash.
This is trash. Okay, they continue to play video games on the Switch, and the daughter says, I don't feel well. I'm having trouble breathing. And the mom says, she kind of blew it off. She's like, okay, let's see how it goes. Maybe you're getting cold, something like that. Later, the little girl who's 8 said, I cannot breathe. So they said, okay, as a precaution, let's take you to the emergency room. So they did. They hooked her up to the machine that tells you how much oxygen you're getting in. Biggie knows about this.
Oh, he does indeed.
You know about this.
Goes
right?
on your finger.
Finger clamp.
On the finger. She was at, I believe it was 91%, which is way low for a child. Should have been up at like 99. And they said, she's got some problems with her lungs. At that point, Dad said, I'm having trouble breathing too. And so they did him. He was at 93%. They said, you've both been compromised somehow. We're not sure how. 5 minutes later, the wife says, this woman here says, I can't breathe either. I'm having trouble breathing also.
Is it hysterical non-breathiness?
It was not hysterical non-breathiness. They asked. They said, you're hysterical. You're hysterical. Later, the girl was so bad, the little girl was so bad, they had to take her to the children's hospital. And they spent 24 hours in the hospital. They put them on oxygen. Now they put them on like they're back home now, but they put them on like a self-ventilator every 4 hours. They have to take a, what do you call those?
Treatment?
Yeah. Some sort of treatment. And it says carbon monoxide poisoning. That they all got carbon monoxide.
There's just poison in it.
Well, the dad threw up. The dad got nauseous and threw up.
Yeah.
And the woman finished the story.
We were in the hospital from 6 p.m. Saturday, and then she got discharged at 4 p.m. on Sunday because of an Easy Bake Oven. They don't know if it was like a manufacturer defect, if it was a malfunction of sorts, but there was some sort of poison that got emitted from that machine when we plugged it in. And now my husband and daughter are both on a 5-day steroid. They're on an inhaler every 4 hours. And the crazy part is that we didn't even eat the product. We didn't eat it, and we didn't even cook it for the whole amount of time. If we baked the second cake, we would have then been exposed to it for another 20 minutes. What would have happened then? And what would have happened if we didn't take my daughter seriously when she said she had trouble breathing? What if we didn't go to the ER right away? Like, this could have been much worse.
I listened to her entire TikTok. It was 7 minutes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's long, isn't it?
Did you listen to the whole thing, Kelly, to punish yourself because you've ignored your own children's pain multiple times on the record?
You remember my daughter thought she broke her finger.
And you said,
Yeah. Remember my son
And
thought
then the doctor said, you've broken your finger.
Thank God you came in. My son said he had broken his wrist. I said, toughen up. Be tougher than that. Come on.
And later the doctor said, he's broken his wrist.
One time my daughter fell off a swing and had a goose egg over her eye. And I said, put some cold peas on it. You'll be fine. Rub some dirt on it.
Later the doctor said,
You have a concussion.
That's good parenting.
Yeah.
yeah, ignore it at your own peril.
Yeah. Well, I noticed she was blinking a lot when I turned on the lights, but
And crying.
A lot of that.
you're telling me that woman went on for 7 minutes?
7 minutes. She was very
What's
long-winded.
the carbon monoxide from? I thought those things cooked with a light bulb.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
How'd that happen?
I'm sure it does sound like there was some sort of defect with the oven. But my understanding of carbon monoxide is you can't smell it. And it puts you to sleep.
Well, there was no smell, but
I
they
thought
all.
she said they all smelled
Yeah,
funny.
She said it smelled funny.
yeah.
She said it
I mean,
smelled
it's
funny.
probably
She
the
did,
melting plastic or whatever it is in
Or the cake.
Yeah.
The cake smelled funny, too.
The fire department checked for carbon monoxide, mold, lead contamination, all of these different things. They found nothing, but it had been 8 hours, and it had all aired out at this point. They unplugged it. After 20 minutes, they unplugged it.
They got to take that oven, the fire department, and go plug it in somewhere that they can test it.
In an open area?
In an open area.
Fire department just starts dropping like flies.
Oh, yeah, you can't have that.
You know,
You got to do it outside.
Are we sure the dad, after being married to that for so long, wasn't trying to put his head in the oven?
I'm not certain of the dimensions, but I'm not certain an
Another
adult
little
head would fit in.
Easy back up.
Yeah.
But when you're desperate, desperate times,
What are you doing trying to shove your head into that?
Just hang on.
go in the other room and find out.
I mean, under 7 minutes,
Yeah, she's 7 minutes long.
that would make me hook my host up and run it through my car window.
She was long-winded. Oddly, she couldn't breathe. She's very long-winded on
Yeah.
TikTok. I listened to that whole thing.
Of course it's scary.
It was
I
good.
never
course.
liked those damn things. I
I thought they were just cooked with a light bulb.
It
I didn't
was.
think
It
there-
is
I mean,
what-
there's that's the only heat source,
But
right?
it's still gross.
But if it's not something as bad as carbon monoxide, I mean, if it's just plastic or something like that, why do they all have such terrible? I mean, they couldn't breathe.
The plastic must have some chemical in it, and I bet
Maybe.
it was
when
defective.
it melts, it was released.
It was
perhaps.
defective
Easy
wiring or
bake.
something. Yeah.
And they only had it plugged in for 20 minutes. Now,
Is it still just a light bulb that warms this?
I
or
haven't
is-
seen one in.
You'd think.
I don't
40
think they have a
years.
little burner because it's still for
No.
kids.
But if you can cook a cake in it, Doesn't it have a little more to it, you'd think, than of course, it didn't work. It didn't cook the cake all the way through.
Maybe they make them convection style now. I don't know.
Perhaps. But the woman said the doctors theorized, of course, the husband and the daughter had it the worst because they were in the kitchen making the cake. She was in the other room packing and then playing the video game. So she got a little bit.
A lot of square footage to cover for a little oven to push out that kind of poisons.
Well, the woman said she wasn't even hardly near it. She was in the next room.
Yeah.
The husband and the daughter were close to it. So
Also,
did your daughter ever have an Easy Bake?
No. I haven't seen an Easy Bake.
Did your wife when she was younger?
Yes.
I want to say Beth did, but I couldn't tell you if she did.
We had little pretend ovens,
Most do.
but nothing that would actually
Nothing
cook.
plug in.
I have only seen an Easy Bake Oven once or twice. When I was a kid, I must have been in a girl's room.
oh, really?
Well, I didn't have one.
Well, there's one.
I don't think I had one. Did I get an Easy Bake? I don't think I had an Easy
Your mama
Bake.
wouldn't give you that.
No.
Your mama wouldn't make you cook.
No.
She'd cook for you.
Now, I'd get down on the floor and do pots and pans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when my dad's friend suggested that I was homosexual at age like 5 when I was working. This is a different time, And he's like, look at this one down here. He's going to be a chef when he grows up. My father said, get up. He wouldn't let me. He wouldn't
woman's
even
work.
That's woman's work. He wouldn't even let me.
Grab you by your scruff.
Yeah.
Daddy, I like to cook.
No, you don't.
Get out and play.
You like football.
I don't like football.
You like NASCAR. I don't like NASCAR. I like to get down and then pots and pans and go to cooking.
Diddy.
That's my thing. Come on, Diddy.
Someday I'm going to get on the radio and talk about Billie Eilish
You are not. You are not.
and Olivia Rodrigo. I'll show you,
No,
Father.
you are not.
Slap them in your mouth.
I'll have people questioning my sexuality for days.